How to Read Literature Like a Professor, Part 1, The Bone Zone. Freud says that little girls have penis envy and that phallic imagery could be anywhere. You see that? It's a penis. You see that one? It's another penis. You think you can escape from your inner thoughts and feelings? Wrong! All humans ever want to do is go to the bone zone. You think girls get off easy? Wrong. On top of the time of the month, they also have the problem of dying cows, which symbolizes infertility, and dying fields of flowers, which symbolize dying vaginas. Now why is that? Men always want to prove their manliness. Little known fact, Washington had a square triangular penis. Now after that phase full of architectural wing-wong, now what are women represented by? Women are typically represented by both dying cows and fields and holy grails. Yes, holy grails. Think about it. A knight with his sword goes off and fights a dragon, and then he gets his holy grail. What do you think that holy grail really is? The knight's got a sword. Now what's the act of the bone zone really represented by? Typically it's represented by something like the ocean, which rocks back and forth, probably like a bed. Or window curtains blowing gently typically represented somebody getting lucky. Furthermore, sex is usually depicted by keys and locks where the penis is exactly what you think it is, and the vagina is exactly what you think it is. And homosexual sex is occasionally depicted as wrestling. Yes, men wrestling. Sweaty, greasy, sexy, oily wrestling. Now, coming back to Freud, every little boy wants to boink his mom, and every little girl wants to boink her dad. So, where does that leave us in literary sex criticism? Now that we're on the topic of Oedipus and Freud's great suggestions because of it, we're going to talk about the rocking horse winner. It's a story of a man who is failing in all of his business attempts. His wife is very disappointed in him, and their kid rides his rocking horse until he is exhausted for hours and hours upon end because he believes that riding that rocking horse will tell him the winners of the next big horse race while his sisters play dolls in the nursery. While this is going on, he rides it to exhaustion, doing this frantic, rhythmic motion on the rocking horse. You have 3 guesses to guess what that frantic rhythmic motion on the rocking horse is, and the first 2 don't count. Now what do you think the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost is about? The butt and nothing but. I took the road less traveled by, and it made all the difference. Do you really have to look that hard? Well, you don't, because it's not true, but still. So what do you think books are trying to say whenever 2 people are going to the bone zone in actuality? Surprisingly, it's not sex. Typically, they'll be discussing something else, like a women's coming of age, or a woman's independence, or something similar. Or alternatively, it'll be something like The Clockwork Orange, where sex is portrayed in a very negative manner because a man rapes a child. 2 children. No jokes here, that's not something to joke about. Now, when you think about it, this is entirely accurate. I mean, there's only so many holes and orifices on the human body, so there's only so much you can do with each one of them. I'd say there's like 12 options total if you include the ears. Turns out that writing about ear-penis sex is A, less sexy than it sounds, and B, not that interesting. Or just sex in general is not that interesting, which is entirely true and or possible. You know what's terrifying? A novel in which 2 incredibly old relatives have sex. So I'm going to tell you guys about it. An old woman goes up to her uncle's bedroom and they go to the bone zone, essentially, in this book. It's not something I'm going to really divulge much about, but the chandelier shakes below. What do you think this means? Is it just a radical assertion of the life force, or is it something bigger? Your guess is as good as mine, but I feel like I'm about to puke right now, so I'm going to go ahead and divulge from this subject, essentially. In fact, I'm going to call it quits here. Have a nice night, and thank you so very much for watching. This was Literary Sexual Criticisms, The Bone Zone, by your favorite. Thank God for me.